Hi everybody, welcome to my first YouTube build in The Sims 4. I thought I'd start with a base game only build that anybody who has The Sims 4 base game can obviously download and play in. So I went with a Scandinavian inspired simple house. I think it's really cute despite the fact that it's very basic in shape. But that means it's also nice and easy for gameplay. It means that you can easily find your Sims. There's a lot of open space in the center of the house in the main living area, which we all know is handy for Sims who decide to have this long distance conversation across the room with their backs to each other. So yeah, despite its basic box shape, I think it's still really cute and it's good for gameplay. I also went with a Scandinavian sort of inspired interior exterior because a lot of the base game items definitely nod towards that aesthetic. They just remind me of things you would find in IKEA, basically. So that's why I went with that. And if you're not too sure, the term Scandinavian just really refers to the three Nordic countries, so Sweden, Norway and Denmark. But mainly what I mean by that is the very minimal, clean, white interior style that I'm going for here. It's very popular definitely where I'm from in the UK, partly because of IKEA, I suppose, and because of its affordability. I guess the more minimally furnished your house is, the less you need to buy. So it's a win-win. So yeah, I've got the basic shape now and the layout, and I wanted this to have a master bedroom and a child's room. So the child's room is in the back there, and they both have an ensuite bathroom, which is quite nice, quite luxurious for a small home. So yeah, I've just placed in my spotlights, as I always do, just so that I can clearly see the colours that I'm going to be placing in. So I've put all blank white walls in. Now that might be quite boring for some of you, but to me it's, I don't know, with the natural light of those windows coming through, it just opens up that space. And there is going to be some things going on the wall, but it's just going to be not too much. So these half walls I'm putting in are for the kitchen. It's going to be a galley kitchen, which means you walk straight through it and it's either side. It's still pretty sizable. I mean, it has everything obviously the Sims would need, and again, it's all white, so no surprises there. I did also want the living area to be, as I said, open. So you can see we're going to put the sofas here. And again, Sims can have the conversation over that wall, like they probably will. So yeah, I went with some grey sofas instead of white, just to, I don't know, change it up a little bit. And I really like that lamp that came just before the toddler stuff pack. So with the toddlers, when the toddlers were added to the game, it was about a year ago now, was it? I'm not too sure. But yeah, I like it in the all white swatch. I think it looks a lot more sleek and designed. So here I'm in debug mode, looking for something to put on the coffee table, and I go with this book. It's really cute. I love the color of it, and I just sized it up by 1 just to make it look more deliberate. The Sims probably going to put it in the bookcase when they move in, but you know. And I'm also going with this base game rug, which was one of my favorites since the game came out, and I like it in this lighter swatch. It just, I don't know, it's minimal. It's definitely what I would describe as a Scandinavian kind of style, and I think I use it again later on for the dining area. So I'm just going back to the kitchen now and putting just one wall of tiles in. I didn't want to put tiles everywhere. Again, it's almost wherever you need that part of the wall to be different, just place it there. That's it. And obviously this is the main splashback area of the cooker and everything. So yeah, I did put a what is it called, the smoke alarm. Yeah, I put that in, but I hid it behind that the range hood because it's kind of ugly. I don't like it on the wall. Here I am just experimenting with the room, but I ended up getting rid of that wall just because it kind of starts to close it off a bit, and I didn't want that. Yep. So what did I do next? Oh yeah, so I used this wallpaper is so cute, and it's very kind of very true to the style that I was going for, so I had to use that. Oh, and if you're wondering, I'm just going back and checking. I built this first of all in an apartment, and then I realized obviously apartments don't come with a base game, so I placed in a lot next to this one just so that I could refer to it, and then I built it from scratch again. So yeah, so for the kids' room, I wanted it to still keep the theme of the whole house in the fact that it's still very white, with greys and light wood, but then I obviously could not escape the colours that would come through the toys and that kind of thing, so that's where I kept the colour. It's only through all the toys that are dotted all over the room. Even the bed is as plain as it can be, I think, for base game. And I also wanted a lot of wooden painted furniture and toys. I like that that look. It's everything's quite solidly built. This chair is really cute as well. I like that it has swatches for a more muted home and a more colourful one. So yeah, again, there's some colour we couldn't escape there, but I think that little pink lamp in the corner is cute, and it goes with the bedspread as well. So I think this is probably my favourite room, just because it looks, I don't know, it just looks the cutest, and it's just got a bit more going on with the toys. And it's another thing I like to do is just lift a toy or two up onto the bed just to make it look more realistic. And I also like to lean items against the wall. So on the bookshelf there, you can see I've just popped those little shoes, and another picture is about to go there as well. I just like leaning things up sometimes just to make them look more realistic. Like The Sim has, not gotten around to putting it on the wall yet, as we all do. Yeah, I would definitely recommend, if you've only got base game, to have a little look through the debug catalog. It's definitely, I don't know, you can use your imagination with it. Some things you can size up, size down, and just take advantage of those cheats, and just add a little bit of realism, add some detail, add some clutter. That's usually what makes a build look more dynamic and more more fun to play in, for me anyway. So I think that's the kids' room more or less done. I'm just adding a couple of toys, and I really like those plain blocks as a decor item. Once they've been moved up or sized up, they can't use them anymore, but it's only toddlers that use them anyway. And again, I've tried to stick to the more quite sturdy wooden toys, more kind of old-fashioned style toys. And that cloud is so cute. I put it in nearly every kid's room that I built. So this wallpaper, it's in the kids' room on the one wall, and I wanted to put it somewhere else in the house just to kind of continue that theme and make it look more like maybe they had leftover wallpaper or leftover paint and they decided to paint another decal there, and it just kind of helps separate out sections of the room without any walls. So this is going to be the little study nook, and it looks more separated, and I don't know, it's cute. I like that one, and it's not too childish. It is just very minimal, and I think that's also a really typical thing when you sort of Google Scandinavian style to add a decal or a feature wall. It's a lot easier and cheaper than buying a ton of pictures to put up on the wall or something. So I thought it was very typical. So I've just added a couple of shelves with a bit of clutter. Again, using size up and down sheets now. I love the size down sheet. It just helps vary those few items that you get in base game. I don't know, I just want you to see, if you have only base game, it's not as boring as you might think. There's a lot you can do with it. You just kind of have to use your imagination a little bit. So for the study area, I do put another 2 of those shelves, or maybe 3 later on. Again, just to continue the theme. I didn't want too much difference throughout the house because it's still a small space, and I wanted it to flow nicely and not kind of not make the space seem smaller by adding any walls or too much color in it. And again, using the size up sheet for those curtains, which is really nice because then you can see the texture on them. I think they have like a bit of a linen kind of texture, I think, if you look closely at them. So I think we're going to go to the dining room next. Again, I wanted it to look like a separate area of the floor space, without it being walled off in its own room. So I used a different table to the one from the office space, and it's kind of more of a feature table. It's got that gorgeous wood, and I love the texture on that table. For base game, that is really nice texture. And then I've put the same rug from the living room, again, just so that it's not broken up. It flows nicely and it's not too busy. So I put 2 of these very IKEA looking bookshelves together and just raising some plants up there. And I'm going to fill those little holes with just random bits of clutter. I just like them side by side. I think it looks nicer in that space. So here I've picked out a what is it called? Like an arts and crafts table for the kid of the house. Which I've put in the main living area because I thought then they can actually spend some time in the area where their parent or parents would be cooking or watching TV or something. And I've also left the wall blank there just for all of their little artwork. You can just pop it up on the wall when they've done it. So master bedroom is a little bit more colourful, only a little bit, just with the green bedspread. I don't think the Scandinavian style objects to any greenery, so I think if there's one colour you can get away with adding, it's the green and the plants. So they're all dotted around, and again, lent those paintings up. I love that you can do that with this base game bed because it's got that little shelf and on the end as well. And I've also used that one feature wall, which I imagine actually wouldn't have been painted. So imagine instead of it being a wallpaper, it's actually just an exposed wall. And again, that was one of my favourite wallpapers when I first got Sims 4. It's called Pretty in Plastic. And I really liked this all white dresser with the green handles. I know it's typically used as in a kid's room, but I thought the little green handles, I don't know, they just matched the rest of the room. And I didn't want to go with the other base game, the white dresser. I don't really like the texture on it. It's not white enough. It's more of like a painted wood. So I think in this room we are going to also add an easel, just to make the most of that natural light coming in, because it is the first room of the house, so it's just next to the entrance, and it does have those 3 big windows. I think we'll do that closer to the end though. So the entrance table, again, not too much going on here, but it's just a little space that I thought was filled well with this. And again, just sizing the object down and placing it next to a larger one. It just looks more varied. and it's the same item. So it's just another tip to make the most of your base game items. And I really like those books, but I think, again, varying the colorways that you use when you put them side by side really helps as well. It's definitely something I do a lot. I also wanted a plant in the entrance, but I didn't want it to just be boring and sitting on its own. So I found a little end table. It's more of an outdoor one, and then I just raised the plant on there. So I've just skipped ahead now to the bathrooms. Not too exciting, but I still wanted to show just some little ways that I like to make the bathrooms more exciting and more I don't know, more interesting to watch. I like to put the tiles behind the shower only, and then I blend it slightly into the wall so that it looks like the shower head is actually coming out of the wall. And then I just pop some little things on the back of the toilets. And the same goes for the kids' bathroom. Similar, very similar. This is a little tip of how I raise little items to go on to higher items that don't have any slots for clutter. So I just raise them onto a counter, move them across, and then delete the counter. Obviously, this will only work if you've got bb.moveObjects on cheat activated, so don't forget that. And also activate that before you place the lot if you decide to download, which I would love. You can find my Origin ID in the description bar. I'll pop it in there, and I'll be putting this up today, so you can find it there. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see, any other styles, maybe any more base game ideas that you'd have. I'd really like to sort of accommodate players out there that only have the base game, even though I do have all the packs because I'm obsessed. But yeah, my next build will just be using everything I have, but if you want me to return to the base game theme, I will definitely do that. If there's any ideas you have, I'd love to read that. Yeah, and again, any constructive feedback you might have, I'd love to hear from you, and if you enjoyed it. So just to finish off, I'm placing just a couple more items around the house, but you can tell from that shot there that I haven't actually done the exterior wallpaper or anything. That's something I do sometimes. Sometimes I'll work backwards. I will furnish more or less first, and then go back and really once I know the build, once I know how it looks inside, then I can give it a more fitting exterior. So that's what I've done here. I've gone for these panels on the roof wallpaper that I'm then going to bring down onto that pillar, just for like a bit of asymmetry. And I've stuck two very simple blocked colors again. So the roof is very simple, and I feel like it would almost be a bit of an eco home, maybe with I don't know, solar panels. If we had those, I would have put those on. But yeah, it's just very minimal, very clean, like the interior. So here's just a bit of landscaping. It's just a really easy, quick way to perk up a build and make it look more realistic as well, which is something you can tell by now that I love. So don't forget your terrain tools. For example, under this climbing frame, I'm about to do that. It just makes it look more used. And sometimes I will do it around the foundation of the house like this as well. So yeah, I'm just finishing up now, popping in a little path from the main door and some stepping stones, which are really cute. Didn't want to make a fuss with any patio or fence or anything like that. I just wanted it nice and simple. So finally, I'm just putting in the lot traits, which I think is a really cute feature. I put in Child's Play Home Studio and what did I put in? Natural Light, I think. And there we are. So please enjoy the screenshots. I like the sleekness and the simple design of the house. I think I'd love to live in a place like this. Please let me know if you enjoyed the video, and if there's any ideas you have for me, base game or otherwise. If maybe the video needs to be a bit slower or not as long. any constructive feedback would be appreciated. So thank you. I really hope you enjoyed it and download it and have fun playing in this little house. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.